Brand new week. Heading stateside for a second. J.K. Dobbins rushed for a 29-yard touchdown with 18 seconds to go. And the Los Angeles Chargers beat the Cincinnati Bengals 34-27 after squandering a 21-point third quarter lead. Bengals now 4-7. And if my math's right, 3 wins out of a wild card spot. Mo Wager covers the Bengals like nobody else for ESPN Cincinnati Radio. And he joins us today. Hi, bud. What's going on, old Mo?
Are you having me on to talk about the Grey Cup?
Did you watch it?
I followed it because of Zach Collaros, former Bearcat star. It didn't go well for my guy, Zach.
No, he got hurt. That's right. Huge Cincinnati veteran, Steubenville, Ohio product. Okay, would you rather talk about that than the Bengals? What were you thinking when the Bengals gave that one away at the end?
Most frustrating Bengals season of my lifetime, and I've been through a lot of them, Rod. Kind of the season in a nutshell. Kind of the season in a nutshell, so to speak. They fall behind because their defense is not very good. They put Joe Burrow in harm's way too often. The offensive line was not very good, and yet Joe's greatness and Jamar Chase's greatness and T. Higgins' greatness allow the Bengals to come back and almost win. And that's kind of been the theme of the season. They've lost all these close games. They have gotten some of Joe Burrow's best performances in games this season that they haven't won. And that is deeply frustrating. I think you would agree that there are a few things in sports as just deeply frustrating as wasting greatness. And the Bengals are doing that. They're doing it with Joe Burrow. They're doing it with Jamar Chase. Last night they did it with T. Higgins. They're just not good enough on the margins. They're just not good enough defensively. Right now they're just not good enough on special teams. And as much credit as you might give them for coming back in the second half of the football game, you can't fall behind 18 points on the road against a good team in a game that you have to win. And so they cooked themselves early, put themselves in a position where they had to mount this monumental comeback. And then, as has often been the case this season, in the waning moments of the game, when it's time to win, the Bengals figure out a way to lose.
Yeah, that was a mouthful. It's like you rehearsed it, man. 3 years removed, though, from being in the Super Bowl, Mo. I mean, here's the thing. Last year with Burrow's injury, you kind of could forgive it. This year, I don't follow the Bengals enough to say why this is happening. Is this a coaching thing? I don't think it's a talent thing. It's a bad luck thing. What have you reasoned it as?
I think it's a lot of those things. I emphasize more than anything that I just don't think the roster is very good. The team they had in 2021, you and I were at the Super Bowl in LA together. That's a good roster. And they'd had a deficiency on the offensive line, but it had a defense that the Bengals back then threw a lot of money at. They overpaid some guys, and they went and addressed the defense in free agency, and then they locked into Joe Burrow in the draft and took Jamar Chase, and it worked. Well, what has happened since? Joe has become more expensive. He's worth it. Offensively, they still have, some high-end dudes. Defensively, what has happened? In the draft, they have whiffed repeatedly. And there were a number of the suspects of that defense that were on display yesterday. Cam Taylor-Britt got benched. Well, they drafted him and decided to move on from Chidobe Awuzie this offseason because they thought he was going to be the team's best corner. Well, last night in a game they had to have, he got benched. They let Jesse Bates walk in free agency. He might be the best safety in football right now. They have not adequately replaced him. Despite trying with a first-round pick, Dax Hill, he hasn't worked out. A lot of the draft picks they have used on defense haven't panned out. They've also whiffed in free agency. So in 2021, I don't want to say I could have fixed the defense, but it's easy when you're just going to throw money at a problem. When you've got to be a little bit more strategic and you can't just blindly throw money at a problem, boy, it tests a front office's acumen. It tests their ability to scout. It tests the coaching staff's ability to develop, and the Bengals have failed those tests. So I start there. Zach Taylor gets some blame anecdotally. I thought, for instance, for those who are watching last night, I don't know why you don't call a timeout when Jamar Chase is on the sideline to give him a blow when your team is trying to win the football game late. I think many would say that Zach Taylor doesn't give this team a decided advantage anywhere. I think Jim Harbaugh does. I think Mike Tomlin does. I think John Harbaugh does. I think Andy Reid does. I think it's fair to wonder 6 years into this, what real specific advantage does Zach Taylor give the Bengals? And yeah, they have been kind of unlucky this season, but I'm a big believer of the fact that you create your own luck. And so you put yourself at the mercy of luck when you fall behind by a bunch of points early in the football game. You put yourself at the mercy of luck against the Baltimore Ravens when you can't stop anybody on defense. So, yeah, luck has been a factor, but they've been in a position where bad luck can kill them, and that's something that I don't find excusable.
Lastly, the Bengals live in the toughest division. I think we would agree in the NFL. You know, I live in Miami. The Dolphins are in maybe the weakest division this year in the NFL. And on radio here today, they're all going, if we can just get Jaden Waddle going, if we can just get Tyreek going, if we can just play call to save Tua's melon, we got a chance. Which they do. Mm-hmm. What's the vibe in Cincy with your team in the playoff?
Season over. And that might sound premature. The schedule does ease up a little bit after they play the Steelers a week from Sunday. But the math is getting really hard. I mean, look at the AFC North. Pittsburgh's 8-2. Bengals play them twice. Even if they were to beat them head-to-head, are they going to make up 5 games in the loss column? Probably not. They've lost 2 head-to-head games against the Baltimore Ravens, so they can't catch them. Denver wins yesterday, so Cincinnati has a 2-game deficit to make up. You got to get to at least 9 wins. For this team to do that, they can only lose one more time. And as much as you might look at the Bengals, and I think fairly so, and go, God, you know what? They're a tough out because of Burrow and because of what they do offensively. Over the course of the next 6 games, do you trust them defensively? And do you trust them to do the little things enough to bank on them winning 5 of them? The team that I have watched hasn't earned that trust. And so I think the vibe here is one of deep frustration, wondering what changes might be in the offing this offseason, if any, and the lament that comes with wasting greatness, and the Bengals have done that this year.
Well, as a Cowboys fan, insert that with under the star. It's the same thing.
Our teams play in a couple of weeks on Monday Night Football. Boy, that'll be fun. That'll be fun for everybody. Bengals Cowboys in prime time. Oh boy, I know here in the United States, the entire country is going to be on pins and needles for that one.
We'll put a lunch on it. Radio talk. Did you get a new microphone?
I'm sorry, you broke up on me. What'd you say, Rod?
I'm sorry. Radio talk. Did you get a new microphone?
No, no. Usually I do these from my house, and the microphone is gray. And today I'm in the studio because I had to get here early for something, and so I'm in the studio. I do the show, and so no, this is just. It's cool looking though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's like you pulled out a spray bomb. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we notice these things in the business. All right, Mo. Good to see you, man. Cheer up, all right?
RE20.
Cheer
I'll do my best. You know what? Seeing your face made me happy today. Usually you've got like an ocean behind you and there's boats going by. The last time I was on with you, you were at the gym. I wasn't sure what's going on there. You had this gaudy shirt. Any more of that Grey Cup gear you got on there? Any of that in XL?
This is XL. Yeah, when I'm done with it, I'll give it to you. Maybe it's Super Bowl. All right.
Hand me downs. Great.
Thanks.
All right, Rod. See you, man.
Thanks, Mo. The great Mo Egger. The Bengals are back to being who we thought they were.